Okay, here we are, the Kaldheim draft. Immediately, we have a god. Wait, William. Pause. Gotta pause there. Hey. Okay, so first picks here. Poison the Cup is amazing. The Land Frostbite is good as well. Rune of Speed, great. Valkyries, great. Raven form, great. Ice Hide Troll, if you know you're going snow early, it helps. And then the Ice Tunnel is a good thing, but yeah, Halvar is just on another level good. Both sides of Halvar. So I'm looking for enchantments and equipments for the creature side, or just kind of piddly creatures to put on the equipment side. So immediately I get Rune, which is both. I can attach the Rune to the equipment side of Halvar, and then I'm gaining life while I'm hopefully getting this vigilant creature that can't die. And if I put Rune of Sustenance on something and then have Halvar in play, it has double strike and I can move it around. Also good here, Bounding Gold, Master Scald, Valor of Worthy. Like, I'm probably going to get back some white enchantments. So I was lucky to get Halvar first, and then it seems like it just happened to also be in a pocket of good cards. Like right now, only one card has been picked from this pack, so it's just like, it's not me finding the pocket of what people are drafting. It's just like the natural card pool of what's out there. Yeah. And now I might be looking for the Rune equipment as well. That'd be great. Yeah, a vigilant lifelink thing that you can. Okay, boop. So here, there's Dwarven Hammer, but I don't know what other color I want to be yet, and I don't necessarily want to commit right now. So for me, it's between Raptor, Doomscar, and Iron Verdict. I kind of maybe want some removal. Iron Verdict is a great card. The land is good. The balance was good. There's a lot of good stuff in there, but what I don't want is have a deck that is 100% proactive. I know that kind of goes against what my strategy is in Vintage Cube, where I'm just like proactive, powerful cards. Because in this sort of weaker, limited format, your opponent is going to play some things that you just have to deal with, as y'all will see in these games. So here, I really like the Liberator, but once again, I don't want to commit to another color until I at least see like the rare / mythic impact too. So I'm just gonna go with the Valkyrie. Shimmerdale, Timidome. Veil is a good card, as well as more Snowlands. So someone's getting an amazing snow deck out of this. Otherwise, Liberator, the counterspell's decent. Everything else is kind of bleh. Okay. I could grab Arachnoform as well because it's an enchantment, but Liberator is so strong. But I want the Valkyrie. And I know from that first pack that there's either a Valkyrie, Bound in Silence, or the 1/1 +1/+1 enchantment. So here, Reckless Crew. I tried to make a Reckless Crew deck once when it was my first pick. Yeah, interesting results. So here, it's between the Ox and the Valor of the Worthy. Right now, I have no small creatures, so I might be like, I might need some small creatures. But then Valor of the Worthy is also a good enchantment for what I'm doing. So I go Valor. Interesting. Yeah, it makes sense. I like Valor in a deck that's sort of low on creatures because it becomes a creature. So here, while I said I don't want to commit to another color, this is like a Rune. So if I grab that Rune thing, it's very powerful. The Rune enchantment that lets you search for one. And I can throw this on the equipments that I'm grabbing, which makes it even more powerful. It replaces itself with a card, so I'm willing to hedge into green. Might have been a mistake. Like, if I was going to hedge, I maybe should have gone red earlier for the Liberator. So here, there's another Valor the Worthy. Other than that, it's like Firewalker, Craven Hulk. There's some great snow things. Or there's the Armory, which is like, So I thought before that the Armory is an aura or an equipment. Ooh, I grab another Valor. That's okay. You can stack up a lot of Valors because once the first thing with the Valor dies, you can put the second Valor on the 1/1 that is created. You have to be a little careful. I once drafted a deck that was like 8 Valor of the Worthies or whatever. I was like, I'll go blazing fast, and I didn't have enough source material of creatures to like start the chain. I love me some Not Void Shimmer Mound. I love it so much. I really like that card. But I think it's just another Valkyrie. My deck is kind of glutted. There's nothing for me really to do. Turns 1, 2, 3. Like if my opponent doesn't do anything, I really can't do anything. You can play the runes on your lands if you're desperate to draw cards, but not. So here it's like, okay, I'll take another Valkyrie. I have 3 Valkyries pack 1. Is this a I need things to die before I can use them. So now I'm looking for like 1-drops that die and leave value here. There's another Valor of the Worthy, but I think, yeah, the Scald is just too powerful. With these runes, are you kidding me? My creatures are going to have Lifelink and Trample forever. Also, getting back the Rune of Sustenance. So now I finally have a creature that I can play. Hopefully I can, like, foretell Doomscar Oracle on 2, and then play it and a rune on, like, 3. Here, it should be Arachnoform. It works with my my Halvar. I'm kind of doing, like, enchantment things. Now, okay, I knew I had drafted at least 1 Giant Ox. I just didn't know when I grabbed it. I grabbed the Giant Ox. So, Roots of the Wisdom really doesn't fit in this deck at all. Very few decks, like, really want the Roots of Wisdom. More like the Toots of Wisdom. So here, it's interesting. Avalanche Caller, amazing. I don't have any really snowlands. I do like Finn because I have these enchantments, which might make it harder to block Finn. And then, like, I could pressure with the Death Touch. Another Valkyrie. Ooh. All these green cards on the bottom are also good. I love me a Packmate. I think I go Packmate here, actually. Just because Packmate. Also, the Bloodsky Massacre is great. Crush the Weak is great. It's a very strong pack. Alpine Meadow is a good land. Do I go? I either go Fang. Oh yeah, I'm like, yeah. So I like Packmate because if you get a lot of them, your deck is just pretty much unbeatable. Here, I would love to grab the Horizon Seeker, but the Spectrosphere works with like everything in my deck. It's like I can get the runes back again. They're enchantments themselves, and then once again, it's like 2 in a row. Woo! That means I can play 2 Spectral. I can play 2 Spectral Steels. Use the first one to get back the second one. Play it again. Have that die, and then get a rune back. Like, oh. Here, I'm not going to be the 5-land deck for the Path of the World Tree. There's another Doomscar Oracle, or there's a really great struggle for Skemfar, and I'm like, oh, this was a tough one. But I grabbed the Skemfar. I am really low on actual creatures. Here, there's the Bretragard, Stronghold, Bound in Gold. There's the Godhole Guardian, which probably will come back around. Scorned Effigy. These are weak creatures, so I'm like, okay, I'll grab the Aura again, and I'm really starting to worry that I have enough creatures. Like, if you count right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 creatures. 8 creatures out of 18 cards. It's not a good ratio. So I'll grab me an Outrider. So I like the U. I like you, but right now we're almost through pack 2, and I have nothing to get with it. I have no toughness 6 or greater. Here, I really want this Valor, but I need some cheap creatures. Guardian fits the bill. The Raider's only warning was a whisper floating through the mist. Trespassers. 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 3 pass sirs. 3 pay pass. I wonder what that means in French. Anyways, here it's in between like the Mammoth and the Guardian. I really like Mammoth Growth, but I need creatures. Oh, William, what are you doing? Oh. This long haul became a flat haul. Mammoth. The Mammoth is already big. It doesn't need to grow even more. Its bones wouldn't support it that way, and its heart wouldn't be able to pump the blood it needed. Also, the tissue strength wouldn't be. It's magic. So I need to draft almost exclusively creatures in this third pack if I don't want to die. So God's Hall Guardian is something I can get with the Rootless U. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's a cheap creature. Jaspera Sentinel. Jaspera Sentinels are good. They're cheap creatures. They can block flyers. You do need to watch out though because they are like a turn 13 top deck. They're like the worst thing. You're like, oh, okay. All of their 2/2s can beat this. So I need to be careful. Be careful. Be careful. How am I hoping to win? Halvar is pretty much how I hope to win. Halvar and some Valkyries. And then grind my opponent out with value with these spectral steals. Trade up, gain life. And then go. And like the 1/1s from the Valor of the Worthy. Slowly pick you down. Yeah, it's Revitalize. Don't take the roots. William, it's Revitalize here. And if you... Oh, what? Well, I mean, exactly. So I get a land that does something in my colors. And now I am waiting for pack number 3. What you got from me, pack number 3? What you got for me, pack number 3? What you got? What you got for me, pack number 3? Pack number 3, are you a trace-passers? That's what it is. It means the third pack is a trespasser. Okay, so, immediately, Eradicator Valkyrie. Oh, I wish I had waited to pick my second color. But, Maja is an amazing card. Absolutely amazing. Now I have 1,000 creatures on one body. Once again, a little expensive. I'm looking for 1, 2, and 3 drop creatures. Really 1 and 2 drop creatures. But hey, here, there's another Verdict. There's a Bloodline Pretender, and there's the Spider. I go Bloodline Pretender, especially with the Maja. If I can name Warrior with it, I can make a bunch of Warrior tokens and just get a huge... It's a way I can win the game, especially with Rune of Might making it Trampler. Also, Master Skald can get back the Bloodline Pretender, so worth noting. Right now, what I sideboard out, I'm so glad you asked. Giant Ox goes out. Ooh, so here, I just like this Story Seeker. Story Seeker is so strong. I love Story Seeker. Oh, I love Story Seekers. It like... Especially with anytime I'm pumping it. Oh, Story Seeker is so brutal in drafts. I like how the okay. Here it's the Vandal. It's a 2-drop. It's every sort of it's everywhere you want to be. But there are very important sagas and stuff that you need to be able to have removal for. I'm like Sculptor of Winter. I don't really have any snowlands, but it is a 2/2 for 2. So maybe I need it. I don't know. I think sideboard, like right now, looking at what I'm going to make my deck, I don't want the God's Hall Guardian. Thus, I don't want the Rootless U. I don't know if I keep the Grizzled Outrider. All my expensive things are things that... Oh, and then there's another 2-drop. I'm probably getting rid of both of these Sculptors. Maybe a Valkyrie. Maybe the Guardian, so that I have... Well, right now the Guardian state. I need a few more 2-drops to be able to get rid of this Guardian. Guardian of the Glade Walker. Okay, so there's a dual land. There's a champion. There's some broken wings. I'm like, I guess I'll take the champion. I'm not big on the champion. Like, I feel like, ooh, another Story Seeker. I grab it immediately. Another Story Seeker. Yeah. Grab the Story Seeker. No. I think I go for the Masked Vandal because I'm like, I already have 2 Story Seekers. Yeah. I really like Story Seeker. But once again, because of all, like, you know, the random god artifacts and enchantments, the runes, weird sagas, like, you really, it's really hard to win if you can't beat broken enchantments and artifacts, and the Masked Vandal gives me answers to that. So now I have, between the Story Seekers and the Masked Vandals, I have 4 2-drops. So I think I can get rid of the Sculptors and the Glade Walker. That's 3 cards. I need to get rid of 10 more. Then it's like everything that's expensive and not useful. The Hall Guardian, the U, that's 2 more. I'm going to get rid of the Gold Maw Champion. I like the Gold Maw Champion when you are going wide and super cheap. When I'm Voltroning up, I don't like it as much. Especially since my deck is really expensive, so I don't know. It's going to be super late in the game before I can afford to use it as an ability. So let's see how I sideboard. Let's see how I side the board. Let us see how I side the board. Oh, this is, I think I took a little break because I'm like, yeah. So I'm getting rid of the Golma. Getting rid of the Arachnoform. Pardon me while I speed this up a bit. Faster! Faster! Can I go even faster? Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I don't need this. Don't need the Guardian. I'm getting, oh, this is too fast, William, this is too fast. This is too fast. Slower. Oh, wait. Wow. Boop. Playback, speed. Slower. Okay. So I'm debating because I have so many just like removal things. So I get rid of the U. I think I get rid of one Valkyrie because I'm like, bruh. This Doomscar Oracle, I don't remember if I play it or not. I don't think I do, actually. I need to get rid of 4 cards right now. I play 16 lands. I have the one Despair Sentinel. I don't have a lot of ways to draw cards, so I sort of need a little bit of card advantage. Although going down on lands when you're playing Mahjong, not the smartest. I'm like, do I get rid of my runes? My runes? That'll runes me. Iron Verdict, I mean, I have... So I think I go down 1 Iron Verdict, 1 Mammoth Growth, eventually 1 Valkyrie and 1 land. Yep. I'm like, whoa, what else can I throw out? Maybe 1 Mass Vandal. Oh, a Valor of the Worthy. Okay. Yeah, I can buy it. Right now, I think it's all about the same what I get rid of. Because it's like there's no card that's like this is going to be better in every single matchup. You know, I might play slow games where I need more attrition. I might play fast games where I need more things on the board immediately. I'm like, bruh, how do I best use this Halvar? Halvar, god of battle. I battle. I'm a battler. I've got a bat and it's a lurd. So at first I'm like, bruh, maybe I go down lands and I go down this Maja. But like, oh, she's so powerful. I keep looking at this Doom. I don't remember playing a Doomscar Oracle ever in these games. I think I get rid of it. Do I? Just get rid of the land? Up and down and up and down. I'm like, bruh, Iron Verdict. Like, do I get rid of all my removal? Do I leave one? It's so hard when you have good cards, but you're low on creatures because, like, you do need good creatures. I am glad that I kept that Mammoth Growth in, as you'll see later. It was one of my, like, only outs to a situation that I get in. You want to remove a land, William? So the thing is like, yes, I do have, 5 drops. I have ways to repetitively use mana with Halvar, and Maja, I need extra land. And like using the flashing it's not flashback, whatever. We're using the equipments in the graveyard, the 2+2+2 equipments that let you use another equipment or enchantment that lets you throw another enchantment in your hand. Like there are things I can do with my mana for quite a long time, so that's why I'm reluctant to go down the land. But I do. I'm just gonna fast forward because like I'm being very indecisive. The Spectral Steels is what I'm talking about. I'm like, maybe I get rid of a Mass Vandal, but I need some 2 drops. Okay, William. Great. Here we go. Video. Full screen. So this hand is a little slow, but I'm playing first so I can hopefully Bloodline Pretender, struggle for Scampa, and have a Voltron up. So it looks like I'm going to get to do that. I'm going to get to Voltron up. I named Warrior. Warrior seems to be the most common creature. They play a Faithful, and that's a little bit of a trouble. I don't want them gaining a lot of life, and I especially don't want them doing something that makes it bigger. I don't care about my graveyard growing, because this Spectral Steel will allow me to get things back from my graveyard, so I'm kind of okay with things going to my graveyard. They didn't really have anything of import in the graveyard. This is a little too fast for Magic Online. This is not Magic Arena. I'm going to slow this down just to 2x speed. Boop, at least for now. So they Binding of the Old Gods me, and I'm like, oh no. But dead creatures allow me to Valkyrie, equip up the Valkyrie, and now I'm pretty set. Like, you don't really want to play Maja until you have an extra land to get a 1/1, because sometimes it just dies, and you're like, oh. And then they play Furja, which is like, it's a problem. It's a problem because it's lifelink, which means it's gonna be hard to race, and it's card efficient. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. Maybe I can Iron Verdict it. Maybe I can Iron Verdict the Judge of Valor away and be fine. The good thing with Furja is that it mills you a lot. And so if the game goes too long, they will die. They've already milled some with their 3/1. Their Elderfang Disciple completely leaves me defenseless, and they make their lifelinker bigger. So now I'm in a little bit of deep poo-poo. And they're getting to pick their best cards. So I am at a strict disadvantage. Get to draw a card and get a creature. And hey, I attack with everything. You can't block profitably. I get to go. No, I don't have. It doesn't have lifelink. So then they get their cards back. I'm like, no. No, I'm never going to be able to kill this opponent. No. No. And if I stop to... Here's the thing. You could be like, well, William, why don't you just stop and block? Stop, block, and roll. Because in a long game, their Furja is going to give them enough value that I will be in real trouble. So, I want to use my land this turn. However, if they have a removal spell, and I'm betting they have something, because they didn't play their 3/1 lifelink, and they could have. They have 3 mana untapped. So I'm betting they have a combat trick or an Iron Verdict or a Poison the Cup. So I don't want to make my already Voltron 6/5 even bigger. The lifelink would help, but I have a feeling it's not going to live through this turn. So I need to go wide with my threat density. And it took me a second to make that decision. Luckily, if the Valkyrie dies, then I have things I can Spectral Steel. Broken Wing was exactly how I predicted it. Ha 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 ha. And now I can get the Rune of Might back. So I think my opponent's deck is getting pretty low. They Nexus, and I'm like, that's another problem. So the one thing with Nexus is it's great in a long game. However, this Furja is definitely preventing this from being too long of a game. So I do need to gain some life. I'm like, oh boy, what do you Rune of Might? What do you play Rune of Might on? So you can write, what do you Rune? I really want to Rune. Put it on the Maja. Once again, it's a little bit putting my big threat up. Luckily, I draw this Masked Vandal so I can get rid of their next... I don't think I have enough dead creatures, do I? I don't have enough dead creatures to Valkyrie, and I do. Okay, never mind. I lied. I think there's another game where I'm constricted on dead creatures. So here I'm like, okay, yeah, let's just send it. Let's try to race. I'm in a decent enough position because I gained life with my land last turn. Because when I put the +1/+1 counters on things, they're not going to die anytime soon either. But I do like attacking their library by killing their 3/1. Because either they're getting to the point where they will die. Oh, and then I'm like, well, 6/6. Talk about gaining life. I'm dead. Bro, no, I'm dead, William. But hey, guess what? This is dangerous because I'm like, do I get rid of... I'm going to get rid of Furja because I think as long as I don't die in the air... I can chump block this Lindworm for a long while. And they can only play 1 spell a turn, really, or else they will die. Then, what do you know? Raven Wings. What do you know? Luckily, I can afford to take 1 hit. I take it. Are they going to play another spell? They play another spell. Once again, they are getting the best of their entire deck against whatever I happen to draw. And they're getting 2 cards a turn. So while it seems like, William, we're really fighting an uphill battle right now, that's why. That makes sense. I do like that I have something lifelink-y. I can sort of attack profitably, but I'm going to need to leave a lot of chump blockers back because they can use their priest to kill one of my flyers. So I'm like, you know what? Oh, I should have kept this sentinel back, I think. Because if they could have removed one of my flyers here, it would have been game over. It's a risky play. Because they can remove the other flyer with the priest. I think I'm thinking I want to put them in a position where if they don't leave something back to block, they could die themselves. Like right now, they're in a little bit of a pickle. Yeah, I think they run out of cards now if this 3-1 dies. Because and I've put them in a position where they kind of have to block with it. So I have 2 blockers for the Linvan between the Sentinel and the Valkyrie. They get rid of the Valkyrie. So now I have 1 blocker for a flying attacker. But I can attack, and it is a must-block situation for you. I attack with everything. I should have left the Sentinel back. But the Sentinel triggers, gets rid of all of their cards. And hey, I take game 1 home. Luckily, I would gain 2 life, so I went up to 8 life. I would have been able to tank 1 hit from their Linverm with the Raven Wings for exactly 7 damage. But I put myself in a very risky situation considering what they were drawing. This is a fine hand. This is a fine old hand. A little slow. Hello, opponent. Hello. Hello. The plan is to Oracle, and then I think I want to Rune of Might it up so that it can be powerful, and I get to draw a card. I don't want to miss land drops. So now I have Halvar, so this Doomscar Oracle might be sitting there for a long, long time. Also, if this dies and I can spectral blah blah blah, the spectral steel the Rune of Might, then I can put that Rune of Might onto the Halvar God of Battle's equipment side. So this is a little bit of a pickle in that if I had creatures in my graveyard, I could Mass Vandal their effigy away. I think I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to Voltron up, and I'm going to attack. If I can Halvar, Doomscar Oracle will get double strike, which means it will be a must-block, amazing threat next turn. So that's what I'm trying to build to. They're dead. If they attack and like double foretell, and then I Halvar, they are dead. So Halvar, you know, not the fairest of cards, but it's a god, so it has to be a little pushed. None of the gods are. Some of the gods are okay. You're like, this is a little pooply dooply. The green one that searches for other gods is like, it's a very rare deck where that's broken. And then so now like they attack with everything. I'm like, okay, sure. I'm fine with you attacking with everything. Lots of ways I can go. Once again, I think I'm just attacking them because I might want to play the Halvar for the Halvar side. And I don't necessarily just want to like Mass Vandal. I also don't want them to have 4 attacking power in play. Or as a blocker, because right now they can't block my 7/6. They can't even double block it. Also to get rid of their flying blocker when I'm gonna have a 1/1 spirit. It all sort of goes together, and a potential Valkyrie if my 7/6 dies. I don't think my 7/6 is living at this point. I'm like, oh, they're gonna find a way. They're gonna have something. So they leave a chump blocker. Hey, I'm fine with that. Now, they leave all of their mana up. I maybe should have taken this as one of those signs where you say, like, okay, if this is the status quo, there's certain situations where if you expect a trick, you should wait, because then your opponent has to keep up the resources for the trick. But I'm not really doing anything if I don't attack. So I'm like, okay, if I attack and they have an amazing play, I have follows with the Valkyrie and blah, 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 blah. They do. They Mammoth Growth. Hey, we trade. I get a 1/1. And now I can make a Valkyrie. I think this is the opponent that does the thing. And I'll explain the thing when it happens. Is this the opponent that does the thing? Okay, they suspend something. So they say good game. Here's the thing. I hate when opponents say good game when the game isn't over yet, because people use it for mind tricks. People use it to be like, oh, they're going to think that I'm completely dead, and that I'll say good game, and then they'll let the defenses down, assuming they've won, and then I'll have a trick for them, and I'll win. I think it's so rude. I think it is so, like, metagaming rude that because good game is supposed to be like, hey, this is sportsmanship, this is good game, but to use the limited, I mean, you know, in the competitive side of me, use everything, every mind trick you got. You're not across the table for them, so you have to use the portal, and you have to click things that aren't relevant, and you have to. So on this one side, I'm like, okay, hey, yeah, cool. But in like just a normal, non-super competitive draft, I think it is so rude to say good game when you plan on doing little tricks. So I'm like, okay, they say good game. They expect to just lose, so I'm gonna attack. Oh, wait, I thought it was good game, opponent. Why are we sitting here waiting? Why is the game still happening? Oh, yeah, you have a trick. Exactly. So I could have Halvard and equipped the equipment side, and then I could have attacked for 6 in the air. But as soon as they said good game and they left man, they didn't concede. I was like, they're doing the mind trick thing. Like, poop on them. Poo-poo on them. So because of the spectral seal and the Valor of the Worthy, I can make Halva a 5/5 double strike, which is very dangerous. They keep touching things, and I'm like, suspicious. So I could also Maja, but I don't want to Maja until I have a land. So I'm like, what do I do? Yeah, let's just draw some cards. Maybe I'll be able to play this Vandal after. Hey, opponent. Now I have a 5/5. I can switch it, and like I could attack with Halva, but I expect that they have another trick. In my mind, they have another trick right here. That's what I really think. So I think like, oh, if I just attack with my 2/2, then they have to block. They don't have to block with a Raven, but it's kind of they're gonna block with the Raven. Otherwise, they'll go to 1, and I have Trample out. So I'm like, okay, what do they have? Oh, hey, look, another trick. I thought it was good game, opponent. I thought the game was over. I thought you were congratulating me to be a good sportsman on the good game that we just played and finished. No, we're still playing this game? Interesting that, isn't it? So they attack. I'm getting kind of dangerous. And now they kind of have me, right? It's like the next turn, if I can't win, they have me 3 in the air and 3 unblockable. And now this is an interesting thing. First of all, there's many ways to eat this apple. As opposed as like a Maja, and then I have an attacker for 5 that they have to block. I go for the Scald. For some reason, I thought the Rune of Might was still on. I thought I had Trample. So I just said good game because I thought I had Trample with my Halvar. I thought I was attacking for 10, and then it actually was just good game. However, it's not quite good game. The game's not over yet. So if they had a removal spell, then yeah, I could be in poopily doopily. But they don't. I have a Rune of Sustenance. So now the problem with the Rune of Sustenance with the Valor is that it'll only deal if it kills whatever it's attacking against on the first strike of double strike, then I don't gain the second attacks, the second tax worth of damage because it doesn't have trample. So I'm like, you know what? I could switch one of these things to Halvar and then attack with 2 threats, but then it's like it's like yeah. Oh, now good game. Yep, now you concede, opponent. Tisk. Shame on you, opponent, for using that mind trick. But then also, like, I get it. I get it. You do what you can because there's no. But also, if anyone ever like is in chat with you on Magic Online and they're like, oh, good game, well played, or whatever, and they're not conceding and they have untapped mana open, use that to be like, oh, they're trying to do something tricky. They're trying to use the chat function to get in my mind. And then if you're playing Magic live, like, you know, talk, do everything, ask opponent questions, check their nervousness. Like, do it, but, you know, online, there's only so many ways to interact. Also, you'll notice a lot of times if I can slow this down, I will hover below things because I want to demonstrate. Okay, so let me talk about this game. They have a very great aggressive deck. They attacked on that. One second, I missed. Sorry. So they attack. I play the Seeker. They attack with 2 mana up, which means that I just assume that they have a run amok. I want to be able to get some lifelink in because it puts the race favorably in my side. So I'm like, no. I'm gonna attack you for 2. Will you block? Nope. I just gained 1 life out of that exchange, and then now I have a potential life-linking permanent damage source, because if they block, I'll get it back, and it's expensive. I'll have to use a lot of resources to keep playing it, but against an aggressive deck, having a big lifelink thing is big, and I can Rune of Sustenance on the sword to make it like a permanent a permanent lifelinker, even if I have to give it to another creature. That's what I do. I maybe should have seen if they blocked first. Punchline, they don't. But yeah, I just went up 4 life. So I'm betting that they have a run amok, and they're about to attack with everything. So I could block the Bloodline Pretender, but then I'm like, that doesn't trade. I'd rather hit this Magda, because it also makes their Bloodline Pretender smaller in the long run. I get my Story Seeker back either way. So they do have a run amok. In fact, 2 run amoks, and they burn both of them because I blocked something that they needed to survive. So now, I just have a bunch of lifelink stuff. I don't think my opponent is going to outrace me. They do get close. It's like, whoa, no. I love this synergy between the treasure tokens and being able to boast the pup. So I'm in a little bit of a poopy meatball. Luckily, I have 2 lifelinkers, and I still haven't had anything hit my graveyard for the Valkyrie because the sword has been throwing them back to my hand. Now it's a tough attack for my opponent. I think they could just attack with the pup, but now it's like, this is dangerous, and they don't attack, which is like, I think maybe they, well, I guess maybe not attack with a pup because it doesn't give you permanent value. So now I'm just chilling. I switched over the sword because I definitely don't want the Mahjong to die. And this is interesting in that now they can give if they didn't quite have enough mana to make the sword and equip it to the pup and then boast the pup. But next turn, they can potentially have this pup be a very big first striker, which I don't want to see. So here I'm like, you know what? I'll attack with something. I'll attack with this Mahjong. I can giant mammoth growth it so that I gained 9 life, and then I think I'll be out of like damage range. It means I won't be able to play the Valkyrie this turn. But I do like the idea of being out of killable damage range. They block with a 6/1, which, considering I have trample, is the perfect blocker for me, on my end. I get why they're gonna do it because they plan on moving the hammer anyways, and they can get a token for one of my best creatures, even though it would come back. And now I'm pretty safe. I can tank a hit from the pup. I have 3 lifelinkers in play and equipment that throws the lifelink around as I see fit. This is a rough. They got. As far as my opponent has an amazing deck. I absolutely love my opponent's deck here. They just got unlucky as far as A, what I drew, and then B, and the rock, paper, scissors of matchups. So I could block with my Story Seekers, but I think if I attack with the lifelink, I'll be better off. I'm pretty much safe against any card that I know of in the set, the way I block. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna gain a whole bunch of life and see what you do. Yeah, and they concede. Great deck opponent. I feel bad because my opponent, once again, it's a great deck. They played well. They played smart. It's just Lifelink is a bad matchup for them. Especially Lifelink they can throw out little piddlies, and that I had the equipment so I could get repetitive value. This is a slow hand. I don't do anything until turn 3. So, gonna be rough. Gonna be roughin'. Still, nothing until I could play a rune on one of my lands, but I have so many good value ways to use this rune. If you play it on the land, it's probably not going to go in your graveyard. You're probably not going to get it back, so I don't want to do that. They play a Berserker. I play a Valkyrie, which is a warrior, so my Bloodline Pretender gets a little bit bigger, which means the only black spell they could have had that is like that foretells is like the one for 1 mana is the one that makes zombies when things die, so I felt pretty safe there. They could have also had like the village rights to block and then sack it to 2, but I felt pretty safe in that my pretender was living through that attack. I'm not gonna block. They get 2/2, and I'd much rather have my flyer. I'm winning this race, so like whatever opponent. I'll just make my... So I'm waiting for the Mahjong because I want to wait until I can play Mahjong and make a token on the same turn. They have a Jarl, so my pretender goes down, but I'm fine with this. Once again, I think I'm winning in the air right now, so I'm like, this is fine with me. I have chump blockers for their 5/5. I can kill them in the air. Here's an interesting play in that if I just chump block their 5/5... So I'm about to double block. I think in my mind, I thought if they had a mammoth growth, I would be dead, but I actually would be at 1. So it is incorrect that I block with this Mahjong. But for some reason, I was like, oh no, if I don't block, they can mammoth growth me and I die. But I have 2 3/2s, and I can make one of them a 6/5, so I can have like another chump blocker and a lethal threat. I'm feeling pretty safe. This Pyre of Heroes, I'm like, what? Is there anything that they could grab that would be fine? Meh. They gain life too late. So they go the game. But once again, they still haven't conceded yet. So I'm like, okay, I'll leave a chump blocker back just in case. And it's fine. They didn't have tricks up their sleeve. But ooh, you gotta think. People be tricksy. People be Trixie. People be Roxanne. People be other names. My cloak is ripped up. That's my favorite cloak. It's the color of the sun. So this hand, I love it. I love this hand. Missing a little bit of lands, but I have a Story Seeker. I have things to put on it. I miss a land again, and now I'm like, ugh, I might want to pack mate before I Story Seeker. Like, yeah. So drawing lands is the most important thing. I won't be able to pack mate next turn if I because I only have 3 mana max, and I do want to potentially draw a land. So I miss on lands. I'm like, ugh, that's a little poopy. It allowed me to put a creature in my graveyard so I can Valkyrie next turn. I put the most expensive creature in my graveyard. I'd rather... Mahjong is too strong to discard. But I'm not playing that 5/5 anytime soon. But my opponent's not doing anything. So here's a situation. They've just been foretelling things. I should pretty much assume that they have Iron Judgment right now. And I should wait to attack so that they have to keep their resources up so they can't use it. But then also, like... maybe they don't. You know? Maybe they do, and I can make a very smart play that would probably put my opponent at a severe disadvantage. But then also, once they do that, I'm like, you know what? Meh, let's do it. And of course, they do have the Iron Verdict. Especially with Foretell, it's worth thinking about. So, once again, I'm a little bit of mana screwed, but that's fine. I have a strong enough hand that if I can make the game go long, and I can. So here's the thing. I can bound and gold this, but it's just really a 3/3, and I because I just played Vintage, I'm like, Bergie is dangerous. Oh no, I'm gonna die to. But I'm not really gonna this Bergie. They only have 4 cards in hand. They might have 1 explosive turn, but then that's it, and they might block right here. So I'm like, you know what? Hey, block. I don't Voltron up because I'm afraid of what they might have. They do have something. And this is fine. I can Spectral Seal back the rune. I have the Iron Judgment for the Bergie. I'm fine life-wise. I don't mind so much. And so then they hammer, and I'm like, wow. This is when I don't have enough dead. Oh, no, I do. I have 2 dead creatures. When am I restricted on dead creatures? I swear, maybe I played too much and it's a different whole set, but like a whole draft. But I could have sworn I wanted to do. Maybe it's in a past game. I've already passed it. Who knows? Anyways, I get rid of their artifact because it will be very strong in the long run. And here I'm like, I just want to draw some cards. I need more land. I don't get the land, and now it's like, do I kill their Bergie? Do I set up this struggle for Skemfar? What does it do? What does I did? I think that I'm gonna set up the. Shut this door so my phone won't ring. Sorry, girlfriend. Here we go. So now I can play something and use the struggle, which is what I do. I'm like, okay, I'll kill these things, and now I'll have a now I can Iron Verdict, and now I have the biggest creature, and it's a lifelinker. So like, hey, super strong. Here I don't mind trading because like I can spectral back my my lifelinking enchantment, draw more cards, and get more lifelink, and be perfectly fine. And my opponent is basically out of resources. So I can play Maja. I use it with the mana so that I can play it with for my creatures, so that I can play the land afterwards and get a 1/1. And that is GG, opponent. GG. Yeah. Since that was a slow game, maybe my opponent wanted to wait and use the horn side of Bergie. It wouldn't have mattered. I would have still had the 1/3 changelings to destroy it. But if the game's going slow and you know you don't have that much card advantage, and it's like, I mean, maybe they thought they could press the attack and kill me before I drew enough land. So I get that argument too. Who knows? Who knows what the hypothetical perfect play was in all circumstances between our two decks. I certainly don't. So here, slow hand once again. I don't really have anything to do. I can play the Halvar as the equipment on turn 2, and then ruin it up on turn 3. But hey, Story Seeker, always lucky. I have a 2-drop, and now they're doing things, and now I have to make decisions about what I do. I'm like, do I wait for things? Do I try to Skemfar next turn? Okay, they're trading, so I can play this Valkyrie. Great. That's the only reason I traded. I wouldn't have traded otherwise. Also, I like getting their 2/2 before they inevitably make it bigger, which I'm assuming they have a way to do. They have another Berserker, so I'm definitely assuming they have a way to make those bigger. I have now a flyer that gains life. They have to deal with it, or they're not going to be like they dealt me 1 total damage this turn. I'm super winning this race. Since they have 2 mana up, I don't want to do anything too crazy, like use the struggle for Skemfar. So instead, I just go, you know what? I'll do this, and I will foretell things. I might want to block this turn and use this mammoth. So, dupe. They do that. They attack, and I decide, you know what? I can take it because now I can Halvar pump my Valkyrie, and it deals exactly lethal. And that has to feel like a bad beat from my opponent. That, you know, all of a sudden 14 damage came in the sky. Oh, that's one of those wins when if it happened to me, I'd just be awestruck. I'd just be like, and depending on my mood, I'd either be super impressed, like, yeah, magic, that cool thing's happened to magic, or I'd be super pissed, like, yep, they had it. I had cards that I had one more turn. Wow, boy. So nothing to do except set up. I can Pretender and then hopefully trade it off, and then Scald it back. But the problem is, to Scald it back, I would need to I would have to exile the Pretender, so I need more creatures in my graveyard. So they Arnie, and I'm like, wow, you Arnie. I don't want them to get the plus counters from the Arnie, so I'm thinking like, I do also want to draw a card. I have these Spectrals, so I don't mind if the rune goes in my graveyard. I just want the card for like lands. So I equip their creature, and then I Judgment it. The Arnie's does not give the plus counters, and I don't have to deal with dying to death. But then they Quakebringer, and immediately I'm like, that was the dumbest Iron Verdict ever, William. Quakebringer, none of my lifelink is going to do anything good for me. They get to deal me 2 free damage every turn. Like, oh, this is now, in my mind, I've lost this game. In my mind, I'm like, this game's over. Bye-bye, game. I get the Rune of Sustenance back just because it's the only thing I can get back. Because I'd have to exile the Pretender to get the Pretender. So here, I'm pretty much assuming I've lost. They play now they play a long-term value, and they attack. And I'm like, Yes, they should have done it before they played other things. Then I might have been scared to block. But now I can gain life. I have a Voltron up flyer. Like I'm in a good position. Long game. They do have this Svella. Oh, what a fine Svella! You're such a fine Svella. They also noticeably have the troll land that can make it. So worth noting that they have the troll land. I don't Voltron up my Valkyrie because I'm scared that they have removal. And I don't want to just waste more on one. So they tore off. Now I'm definitely thinking that they have so I bound in gold so I can attack this turn. I'm thinking like, oh, I can kill them maybe in 2 turns with this current board state. Like let's do it. Let's go for it. Do you block? If you don't, you'll be at you'll basically be in damage range of this Valkyrie. They do chump block. I'm feeling very good about this game right now. I'm trying to get them before they can Svella grab. So they actually have enough now that they could Svella if they wanted to, the other ability. And now I'm like, what do I do? I've got you in the air relatively fast. This is the game that I don't have enough in my. So I wanted to Vandal one of their mana making artifacts, but I didn't have a creature in my graveyard, so I'm holding it. Is it that I don't have a creature in my graveyard, or that I'm waiting for a better artifact enchantment? I don't know. But anyways, so they have direct damage. They can put it to me a little bit, but I still have them into. So here's one dangerous thing. The troll land can take care of my. Yeah, I didn't have the creature. This was the game that I didn't have enough creatures in my graveyard. I remember this one. So I have them dead in the air unless they have some sort of removal. Hey, look, they have an amazing removal spell that tramples over. Oh boy, am I dead. Oh boy, am I dead. The attack. Sure. I can use a steal. They use, so now I'm like, they're going to be able to get another big thing. I just want to draw some cards. Because I gained so much life, cut back to when they traded their Quakebringer, I am fine for a bazillion turns to take this damage. So I'm not chumping. I need to find maybe a way to go wide. They'll be able to play something cool every turn because of this fella. And I want to get rid of my land with an ability as soon as possible because they can troll it. They can troll it. So here I'm like, what do I want to Valor? I maybe want to keep the Vandal in play. So I want to Valor the Sentinel. If I have a flyer, they're dead in 4 turns in the air. And I can use the Spectral Steel to get back the Valor, so they're dead in 2 turns in the air. So I'm like, okay, I have a game plan. 2 turns in the air from these tokens. They get another struggle, and I'm like, oh, great. They play this very smart, though. They struggle the Sentinel and let the extra damage hit the Vandal. If they had struggled the Vandal, then I would have gained the life because it would have fought. So I don't block. I'm playing to try to kill you in the air, but I need another chump blocker. Even if I have another chump blocker, I'm dead to the Svella and the 4/5s. But hey, look, it's Mammoth Growth. Had it all along. I left myself an out, and that out turned into a victory. Hey, play to your outs. Ooh, opponent was smart, but I was luckier and a little smart myself. So great. That is a 7 wins, 0 losses. Green, white, very dependent on Halvar. That's basically Halvar and Valkyries and values through enchantments. But this has been a great Kaldheim draft. I'm happy to be back. Vintage Qs is amazing, but there is sort of a lot of times it feels less skill involved with many of the games. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube. It helps a lot. Click that like button. Helps me a lot. If you really like this video, leave a nice comment. I get inspired. It warms my heart. And if you really, really like this video, hey, subscribe to the channel. It'll help me grow. And you can see more content. It'll be pushed to you. I'm sure there's more videos of me drafting Kaldheim. Just check in the video. That's probably the window that's showing up right now. And there's probably a playlist. Thank you so much. And have a great day, everyone. Bye.